All right, hello again, everybody. You are looking live at Patrick Hammer in Woodbury, showing us what happened with the storm. We're also again with Dr. Tom Novak, and tonight we're going to kind of do a debrief over what happened with the storm, what it did that we expected, what it did that we didn't expect. And I realize too, there's still some more snow in the offing, perhaps. But tell me, guys, what have you taken away so far from what's happened?
Go ahead, Doctor.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll start off. I actually felt that in general, the model data, especially the NAM computer model, and we don't say this very often, Bill and Patrick, but I felt that the NAM did the best job out of all these computer models that had come out, because it steadily, which each run seemed to push that snow band just a little bit more further north. And when we were discussing this last night, and I had mentioned that I thought that the South Metro was going to get a little bit of ice and some dry air. The reason why I said that was because of the 00Z NAM computer model run. It again nudged the snow just a bit further north, and that was just my opinion then at that time. Got a little lucky, I guess.
Patrick?
I echo his comments. The 0Z run was the teller. I thought the model data that I had seen was pretty spot on. The 12Z data still suggested, even the 0Z models, the GFS was still metro focused. What surprised me, and it didn't surprise Dr. Novak, but it did surprise me, was the amount of warm air and dry air that got entrained into this. I looked at the soundings, the forecasted soundings and whatnot, and I didn't see that much warm air really getting this far north. But this happened on a Christmas Day storm in 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
And it happened a couple of times where big snow totals were just robbed from us because of a changeover to freezing rain. And it literally snowed heavily here in Woodbury until 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then it changed over. And we really haven't seen snow since. It's been a freezing rain or drizzle ever since that. I was surprised by that warm air intrusion. The models to me didn't bring it as far north as I-94, and it certainly happened. And it, I was the one. I'll admit it. I called for top 5 snowfall at MSP, and what did they get? 2.5 inches? I think so far. That we're not done, but so far.
So far, yeah, I do think that.
You look at what St. Augusta, just south of St. Cloud, 16.5 inches. St. Cloud, well over 10. There are numerous reports of 10 to 16 plus inches of snow that just occurred 60 miles farther north, and that was so that. The numbers were solid. The location was, by me anyway, was off. But Dr. Novak certainly noticed that trend in the 0Z runs last night.
Yeah, and I don't want to be covering for people, because I do consider this a bust, especially for those in the South Metro. But let's not forget, it's not over with. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get a half a foot of snow overnight tonight, all right? So let's just get that straight.
Right.
But I wouldn't be surprised if we get a few inches more of snow. And if we did at the MSP International, that would bump their totals up into that 4 to 5 inch range, which some people were predicting that. So
one thing I noticed, I am a huge fan of the National Weather Service. Let me be clear. What I found interesting, and I've never seen this before, if you clicked onto their zone forecast for Washington County today, and Washington County is a rather long county, right? It said new snowfall accumulations of 1 to 9 inches.
Really? Wow.
1 to 9. So, I mean, that's it, but they're right. The southern part of Washington County had the chance of an inch, and that's probably what they got. The northern part of the county probably did get up to 9, but I've never seen that type of range in a forecast, 1 to 9 inches.
Hey, Patrick, it's funny you bring that up, because it's one of my favorite stories of television weather people. I was watching Carl Spring. This must have been 15 years ago, if you remember who Carl Spring was.
Oh, I worked with him at KSTP.
Yeah. He came out one night.
Let us know who he was.
Yeah.
He was a forecaster with KSTP, and then he went up to Duluth. Business. He kind of had that as a side business. Anyway, he was a local Met around here 10 years ago.
Yep. So Carl Spring, on one of his forecasts one night, and we knew it was going to be a tight gradient in the Twin Cities Metro. It was one of those types of storms. But he said the Twin Cities can expect anywhere from 2 to 20 inches of snow. Straight from Carl Spring. I'll never, ever forget that. I laughed my ass off. So.
Well,
I just got to say, though, from my perspective in doing this, it's like, to me, I almost wish people would give a forecast exactly for the airport, so at least we have a basis to see how well they forecasted for a particular spot. I understand it's a big metro area and all that stuff, but I want to assess how well somebody did, and the only way you can do that is to pin them down to one location.
If you were to say the Twin Cities general area, there are parts of the Twin Cities general area that got over 6 inches of snow. If you're talking about, far northern sections of the metro, northern Hennepin County into Anoka County. But if you're focused on one spot, absolutely. 2.5 inches, which may end up being, let's say, 3 to 5, which Dr. Novak predicted last night. That's far different than 12 to 14, but 12 to 14 did happen. It just, it wasn't at that location. I was at the airport today, and by the way, my father-in-law's in town. His flight got canceled.
Oh, wow.
Many flights got canceled. So the impact was probably worse with this freezing rain rather than having it just been snow.
Do you get along with your father-in-law? Was this a good development or a bad development?
It remains to be seen. We're in high-level negotiations to see if his extra night's going to work out.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Okay, good. We're on air, remember.
No, I know, and he's probably listening. The airport there was very little snow on the ground at the time.
Yeah. Do you want to show us some first-hand evidence of what you got in Woodbury there, Patrick?
Yeah. Let me just turn it around a little bit. Many folks probably have this kind of stuff. If I can bring in some audio, it's ice-crusted snow. We got a good 1.5, 2 inches of snow this morning, and then it freezing rain. I mean, this is ice.
Wow.
It's all ice. So the kids are loving the sledding because you can sled right now and do a Clark Griswold because it's so icy and you go 100 miles an hour, but it's not the fluffy powder that many of us enjoy.
No. What are you showing us there, Tom?
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure people at least want to know what's going to happen overnight, and although we're kind of downplaying anything that's going to go on tonight, I find it actually very interesting because the main storm, and Patrick, I'm sure is aware of this second surge of energy, which is actually the kind of the main purpose low, is getting organized right over eastern Iowa as we speak, and I've got the infrared satellite loop that is in motion right now, and what I'm focusing on is these cooler cloud tops now over northwestern Iowa, now coming into southern Minnesota. That's snow, and it's a band of snow, and whenever you see these cloud tops starting to cool, which means they're turning more of that yellowish and greenish color from the blue, that means that it could certainly be an intensifying band of snow. So it's something we need to keep an eye on, and lo and behold, here's the radar summary over the upper Midwest, and it's not very wide. That's about, a 50-mile wide band of snow, but it's now stretching from near Albert Lee southwest into northwestern Kansas. This is snow for the most part.
It looks like most of that would miss the Twin Cities, though, doesn't it?
Well, yes, but let's just look at one of the computer models. This is the NAM computer model that just is hot off the press, and I'm going to show you what it's predicting for total precipitation overnight. This is at 10 o'clock. You can see it doesn't show very much in the way of at least a QPF at that time, but watch what happens overnight. I find that interesting. Here it is by late tomorrow afternoon, at least 2/10 to 3/10 of what would be liquid precipitation over southeastern, 1/3 or 1/2 of Minnesota, and then into much of Wisconsin. If you convert that to snow, that would be 2 to 4 inches of snow. So,
hey, guys, also a ramification of getting additional snow, which I agree. The cold that is getting ready to settle in here is almost as, if not more, remarkable than the snow totals we got in Stearns and Renville County today. Not only is this Arctic push coming in for the rest of the week, but there's another one next week. And we have not had a below zero reading in the Twin Cities, I believe, in the month of November since 1997. And we may have one next Monday morning, which is November, what is that? 17th. We're talking mid-November below zero.
Wow.
This is incredible cold. We are not going to hit freezing here. We're going to be below freezing, I mean, quite frankly, for at least the next 2 weeks, if not longer. I mean, this is an incredible pattern. And if you put snow on the ground, it only gets colder.
This is a record cold air mass that's coming in to the upper Midwest, actually in about the eastern 2/3 of the United States. And if it were January, we'd be talking about 25 to 30 below zero for overnight lows and high temperatures at about 10 below. So thank goodness it's not.
Now think about, but also think about the ice-in dates. We're going to have a lot of lakes that, often ice over in early December maybe. Yeah. They're going to be iced in 3 to 4 weeks early, I think.
Right.
Given how cold it's going to be.
Good for those ice fishermen, right?
Yeah, yeah. So,
hey, just a couple other things, guys, I wanted to show you. Radar, or at least future radar. This is from the, hold on one moment. There's it looks to be the NAM radar, and I wanted to show you this because here's what it shows at 10 o'clock this evening. Not too much, still some holes in the precipitation over southern Minnesota. But watch what happens as we head into midnight and then 3 to 4 a.m. That's a solid area of snow over about the southeastern third of Minnesota and over much of Wisconsin. So if you believe the NAM computer model, and oh, by the way, this is also kind of the trend with the rapid update cycle computer model, you can expect probably at least an inch or two of snow in eastern Minnesota, southeastern Minnesota, and maybe even that 2 to 4 inches of snow, especially as you head into Wisconsin, where some areas, Bill and Patrick, in northwestern Wisconsin are going to probably be measuring snow when it's all said and done in that 18 to 20 inch range.
That's amazing. And I got to, for those that are, if those that tune into this on Monday evening, you put 1 to 2 inches of snow in eastern Minnesota on top of this ice that we have right now. And do you want to talk about a slow, harried commute tomorrow morning? It's going to be something else because I am not kidding. These roads are solid ice. And the plows, plows can't do much with that. They can put down salt and chemicals and whatever, but it's going to be a very slow trip to work or school tomorrow.
I got to tell you, if I saw a picture of a beautiful, in the middle of nowhere, a beautiful snowy scene, I'd probably feel jealous being here in California now. But when I saw pictures of the roads, that icy road, nothing, no problem with that. I don't miss that.
Yeah, I don't recall a November pattern like this. Yeah. We got 7 inches of snow, as I mentioned last night, a couple years ago, but it melted. This is here. Our lawns are gone.
Time to write the love letters to the lawns, right?
Dear lawn, I miss you.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, and let's just clarify something with you living on the left coast, okay?
Yeah.
You may not be in jam-packed traffic through the snow, but you don't need snow out there to be sitting in traffic for an hour or two. Let's face it.
That's true. That's true.
That's
But
right.
the Thule fog is what's truly to be dreaded. I mean, the Thule fog can result in as more accidents than a snowstorm, right, Patrick?
Oh gosh, up
And you
along
get
I-5 or I-90, I-95 rather, in Central California. You know, whether you're going from Redding down through Chico, Sacramento, Fresno, Bakersfield, that Thule fog
yeah.
is awful. And what it does is it settles in to that Sacramento Valley for 2 weeks, where I mean, and you go up 1,000 feet, you go up to Pollock Pines, you go up to areas of the Sierra foothills, and it's beautiful. But that low valley fog, and it's brutal to travel in, and the airports can't bring any airplanes in
Yeah.
when it's like that. So
the answer here is we have our problems in California.
Right, yeah,
Oh,
Bill,
yes.
it could be a clear sunny day, and your traffic is probably worse than on our snowiest day here in the Twin Cities. So,
People don't want to hear about
wait
this.
till he has to go through, Bill, when you have to go through the Caldecott Tunnel to get into Oakland and then San Francisco and cross the Bay Bridge on a Monday morning. Good luck.
All right. Well, I'll
okay. Let's watch radar. Maybe we can get that next 2-3 inch snowfall here overnight and make things even a little bit more interesting around here. Sound
One
good?
last thing, if you hear the wind blowing through these trees
yeah.
with all the ice accumulation on them, I mean, it just sounds like this crackling, wax paper or just parchment paper and just crackling it up. It's a really eerie sound.
And there's still some leaves on the trees, right? A little bit.
Well, no. Some of the branches have a couple stragglers. No, but the leaves are gone.
Okay.
They left in July, it seems.
And that ice is going to be on the trees for a fairly long period of time, so don't be expecting it to melt anytime soon.
No, not at all.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
Guys,
Thanks.
see you later.